Hello everyone. Today we'll be creating a simple transcription app. We'll creating a simple transcription app that is made entirely with Flutter and Whisper. And for the inspiration, I think there are a couple of UI ideas here I saw and I wanted to use. So something like this one here, where you see the text extracted from the audio file, and what else? Don't think I'll be implementing a recorder for now. Maybe in a later update I'll do that, but for now it will be just taking an audio file and extracting the text in it. Then that text can be used somewhere else. I think that's enough for now. And for the packages that we'll be using, I think go to pubdev. For this project, the first one is Riverpod. I prefer Riverpod for state management because it's much easier and I've gotten used to it while working on a couple of projects before. So you go to the official site, then you go is the installation. Oh, I see they reduced it to just this, so we copy that. Then we go back to the project itself, but first you need to create an empty new project. Then you select that, then you select an empty one because you don't want to have all those boilerplate code and the other documentation and comments that you see when you create a new application. So select the empty application, then you'll have this. Once you select that, then just name it whatever way you want. I'll just keep mine transcribe up. Then it will create the project. Okay, then we go to inside pubspec, we add the necessary packages that we need. So the first one was Riverpod. I copied it, then paste it here. Then this one will install all of it, so here it is and all that. Then the next one, let me see. Okay, so the next one will be Whisper. So if you go here, then you have that installation. Okay, let's copy this one. Then you go to the application itself, paste it here so that you can add that. Another one will be for picking files. So to get the audio files, we'll just use a file picker package. Okay, so we have that one. Another one that I love the most using is these two of them. We have logger. So this one will help us better debug the app, see what is going on in the background. So we have that. Then we have another one that it's best for handling methods and function, where it I'll better illustrate it when working on methods. So that. Alright, so we have the necessary packages that we need. The next part will be just launching the emulator and installing the necessary files and library that we need for the application. So let me just put it here. Then I'll just run it and I'll come back to it when everything has been installed. Okay, so everything has run successfully and we have the application here. So the first thing we need to do is set up Riverpod inside main here. So one thing you need to do is wrap it inside a provider scope. So let's just take that. Okay, so we have that. Now the entire app will be using Riverpod for state management. I always prefer working on the services and let's say providers, and mostly the underlying code that will make this app function before I proceed with the UI. So the first thing we will do is let's work on the Whisper service class. So let's create a services. Let me just name that. Then we create a Whisper service. Then inside it here, we create the class itself. Okay, now we have that. Then inside now we create all the methods and mainly those that involve Whisper. So we do it here. Then later on we can implement those that involve like picking the audio files and whatever we might need later on. But the important one is Whisper, because Whisper is the one which will be used to transcribe the. Okay, so the first thing I always do, I import logger so that when I'm debugging I know what exactly is going on. Then first of all we must initialize an instance of Whisper. So to do that we use create future. Then so this part, when I told you earlier on, I will be using that's Z. I don't think it's that Z that is best suited to handle methods. So this part is there. So how to use it, you just put either as the return value, where on your left is normally the error, so it's for which most of the time is just a string telling you exactly what was wrong. So you put that. Then on the right it's normally like the expected outcome that you want, like the correct one. And for here, since we'll be initializing Whisper, what we'll have is just Whisper itself is what will be returned. Then just the name of the method itself is just initializing Whisper, and let's just put that first. Okay, so now we have this. So the next part, we have to define like which kind of models we want. And the thing with Whisper is like let me just show you. I think the best one is it here. So it has, I think, is it around 4 kinds of method of versions. Like there's the large one, there's the tiny one, there's the base one, and I think there's also the small one. Let me. Okay. And I think the best one, okay, is, you can see like the tiny one is the smaller one, like 39 million parameters, then 74. Then the small one is quite big. Then you have the middle one. And I think for mobile apps, if you want the what is it, the experience to be much faster, I think going with the tiny one is much better. Or if you want, you can go with the base one. But while testing the two, I never saw any difference between, like, okay, there was there's some accuracy differences, but it was so minimal that you couldn't notice. And the good thing with tiny is like it's quite fast compared to the base one. So for now I'll just create here parameter where if you want you can switch between the different model type. So the default one for me, I'll just put it here, so you can see here that the difference one depending on what you like, but I'll just put tiny so that the process is much faster when transcribing. Then let's wrap it inside a try catch, where inside here we can add a logger where it's telling us like I see the autocomplete feature has added the log itself, so it will like the first information it sees, yeah, like it is initiating the log itself. Then we create the variable itself, so whisper, whisper. Okay, so there are a couple of properties that you need to provide to it. So the first one is like the exact model that you want to use. For me, I'll be using just tiny. Then you have to define the path where you want to download it from. And for me, I'll be just using Hugging Face. So download host. Let me just so here's the URL that I'll be using. Yeah, so this one is the one. Then the the important part here is okay, so if you want the model to be downloaded when you first initialize Whisper, what you need to do is like call this method that returns the function, no, the version of Whisper that you're using. So this one will automatically download the version that you want to use, because if you don't do that, when let's say later on you want to transcribe an audio file, it is at that point that it will download the Whisper model, and you don't want that. What you want is that it gets downloaded immediately when you initialize. So put this inside here, and this one will download the model and save it locally. So later on when you don't have even internet, you can still use it. And also we can see the autocomplete feature has given us like the results that the message like Whisper has been initialized successfully. Then we can return write. So write, because we're using either, where write is the Whisper instance itself, which is here, and we return it here. Now if it's error, let's return a logger message and all this, like it failed, and telling us exactly why it's failed inside the error. And that is how you initialize Whisper. This one will help you download it, save it. It will save automatically inside the apps cache folder. Okay, now you have that. All right, now the next important method is the one that we'll use to transcribe. And for this one, what it will only accept is like the initialized Whisper, this one, and it will also take the audio path. And for that, it should come here, and so we still be using either. Then we want to list a list of the transcribed segments. And so what these are, it's like when you transcribe, let's say we have an audio file that has only hello world. So this hello will be treated as a segment, and this one will also be treated as a segment. And we want to have that data mapped into a specific model. So to do that, you come here, create a model for the transcribed segment. So this one will help us map best way. So what I'll do, so I have this code already implemented, I'll just paste it here, and let me just explain to you. So you have it doesn't have much, so it's just taken from Whisper. You check the results that was transcribed segment, put it here. Then we map it where the start time, at what time in the audio file was the, let's say, the word hello was, and when it ended, and the text itself. So this is what it will provide. And so you have like a string that we'll be able to print it inside the terminal to like visualize and see what is happening. So here, okay, so that is it. So yeah, make sure you have imported it here at the top. Then at the bottom here, we name the method itself. So just transcribe audio. Maybe later on I'll implement where we can transcribe also videos, like let's say you want to generate subtitles for a video. Yeah, there's a way also you can do that. It just takes some extra steps. If this video does good, I'll definitely do that. Okay, so like I said earlier on, there are specific parameters that you want to pass. So the first one is a Whisper itself. Then we have the audio file, like so. We'll just pass the path of it. Once that is done, then let's just add a log telling us what is happening. So information, okay, I think that's this log is more than enough to tell us what is happening. Then we put a try catch, and then inside the try. So sometimes maybe Whisper might fail to be loaded, so let's keep it as so, where and add here a checker where, so if Whisper is null, meaning it was failed to be loaded. Okay, let's return this one left, where Whisper instance was not initialized. Then we can just add like log information about the same thing for the terminal. Then if everything was initialized right, what we do next is we make a request to Whisper. No, let's create a method for, not a method, like what is it, a variable for the transcription request. Okay, so this one, I hit autocomplete feature. So here you just add the audio path itself. Then there are a couple of properties we can define to it to make it much clearer, like so the threads, let's just put it at 8. Then is no timestamp, so we want the timestamp, so let's put it as false. Then split on words, and that is important, we make it as true. This way words will be split and you'll know exactly where, at what time and at what point is that word appearing. Then once you have that, now we make the call to Whisper to transcribe. So let me just add the log showing like we are sending the request. So take response, then yeah, so we transcribe the requests. And once everything is you can just add this logo, so the transcription was complete. Then we go to the next part where now once we transcribe, the response will have a couple of data, but the most important part is that the segments that were transcribed. So the raw value will be like so let me just take segments. Yeah, so this one will be the raw value, but we want to map it into the transcribe segment model. So for that, we come here, then the segments, where we take the response, then we map it. Okay, so we have an error here with map. We just have to write it here to list. Okay, what is it? Oh, so let me just add this one here, where in case it's in case the results of the segments is null, you just get an empty list. So you have that. Then here we return the transcribe. Okay, so here is it, and there you have it. Okay, let me close this one. And the segments have been like what was it, mapped to align with the transcribe segment. Then you can add here a log like telling us like the process was successfully. Then you can just okay, let me just add the like how many of them were converted. Like oh yeah, so autocomplete did that. Then we return the segments. So here is yeah, so this one, you return this one. Then if we catch an error, we can just do that simply, and we have all the main method that we need for this project. So we have that. So yeah, initialize whisper, then we transcribe the audio. That's all we need for now. Then but to test this, we need to first be able to pick a file. So here what we'll be doing is create a service class for picking audio files. So you have that files, then just name it file services. And the first thing, okay, we first of all need to add a very important package. Inside pubspec.yaml, we need to be able to ask for permissions to pick what is it, audio files. So we need to add this package permission handler. Okay. Yeah, so we add it here. Okay, so permission handler has been added. Then I think there's some configuration you need to make inside Android. I'm testing it inside Android, and in case you are in iOS, yeah, you'll have to do like research how to configure a way to be able to be granted access to like the storage and all that. So for here, for Android, there are these permissions you will have to add. So do this. Yeah, so it is I think it's only that. Let me see. Yeah, to be able to access like the storage. Then once you have that, first thing first is logger. So put that. Then the next one is that that's Z. Yeah, so that's the main one. So we create instance of logger. Then we create a request for the storage here. So like you remember, on the left is normally the error message, then on the right is what we want, the expected results. So we have that, then okay, so we have that. Now we want the request to be platform specific. So first of all, so if the platform, okay, you need to import okay, the trial. So if the platform is Android, we have to request the storage like and also manage external storage, but I don't think we need all that, but just in case we can do that, we can just do that. So okay, this should be microphone, so this one should be like manage status. Okay, so we have that. Then else if it's on iOS we can do this, and I think for iOS we only need photo status, and also I think you also need media too. Yeah, I think that's all. We can also add logos here. Let me just let's see what the iModel will give us, like request. Okay, so that, then requesting 100 permissions, then okay, so that for iOS. Okay, also I think we need to show in case someone is denied. Okay, so have that. Yeah, I think that's all. We need that. Okay, once you have the permission method, now it's we have to pick a file, and to do that, okay, so let's create the next method, like so future and we will return a list of audio paths. Or for now, let me just work with only one audio. So just a list of one audio path. So get audio. Okay, so the first thing, put a try catch, or we can put here like a logger getting audio path. Then we see the results of the permissions that we ask for. And since we're using either, we can use, you can see how the AI model knew like what to do next. So you can just take the suggestion where if it's left, which is normally an error, it will just show you what the error is and return the error message. But if it's granted, we can do the next bit of it, where is using the file picker package. So let's import that. Okay, so here when it's granted, so file result, we can check that, then await file picker platform pick files, and for the type we can just let's take only the audio, so audio, so that we don't want to do things that we might not need, and also make with data false. This way it will in case it's like a huge file, the app won't crash. Yeah, that will prevent it from crashing. So allow multiple, that is false, just want one file. Then once you have the results, we check if okay, so if the file results is not null and the selected file result is not of files is it like is not, what the hell, man, like is not empty. I think I have to disable autocomplete feature here. Is it? Okay, now that is better. Now if the result is not null and there is a file that was picked, what we need to do, since it's just one file, so let me just create a variable for that one file. So file results files, and the first one, because it's just one, so you just take the first one, and we return that path. Okay, so just in case if the file you'll notice here in case it's null, so let me just do that. So path, then so if path is not null, we return right. Else if it's null, just return left and just tell the user audio file path was not found. Yeah, we have that. Then what else? I think okay, so here we might it's not closed normally, so if it's granted okay, so this one is correct if that okay, so here we can return also left, saying that like no file was selected, no audio file. Okay, no audio file. Is it selected or picked? Getting, yeah, just keep picked. Then here we can return also left. I say failed to get an audio file. Then now we can put E. So let's just enable inline suggestion for the loggers only now. So permission granted. Then yeah, okay, so this one doesn't have to be there. You can't put it here below this one. Then instead of doing all this, you can just say can just put it that, and you have this one audio path, like it will tell us where the audio path was. Then yeah, audio path not found. Also here the same thing. Yeah, and I think that's all we need. Like they would get the audio file path and all that. Yeah, that's the main one that you need for now. And yeah, that's all. So these service classes are the main ones that we needed. So the file services and the respawn. Now the next part to do is create providers for them, and to do that, let's come here, just create providers. So the first one, for testing, let's start with the files, like picking the audio files and all that. So pick audio file provider. But before doing that, let me just create like a file. So this will just provide us with the methods from the file services. Create that. Then I import riverpod and the keep here file services and return that. Okay, let's do the same also for the whisper service. Okay, so we have the both providers for the services. Now let's pick an audio file. So for this, let's just use a feature provider because we are dealing with a feature method from the file services. So do that. Okay, auto dispose, so that when you're not using it, let's just get rid of it. So audio file, and the results that you want is just the string of the audio file path. So okay, get file service, and what this is just is it file services. Then inside it we return, okay, so just return get audio file path. Then we can see that the autocomplete has given us this, and okay, so here I don't think they need to show it like an exception. You can just throw the exact error here, and I think yeah, so that's all you want for picking an audio. So let's test it out, and let's go to main. Okay, so let's create a screen first, the home screen. And inside of it we create the home screen. Then inside of it, so first of all import material for the UI. Then we have this option where you can pick either using a stateful consumer widget, and okay, so let me just get this and then I'll show you how to get it. Do that. So this one will help us like work with Riverpod itself, and to do that I think is it all you need to do is like install this package, this one, Flutter Riverpod snippets. So this one will give you like the shortcuts for Riverpod, and we have that. So you have the home screen, then let's go to main and reference it here. Okay, so we have that. Then can put this one to be a scaffold, and the upper to be like let me just keep it like transcribe me. Yeah, I'll just name it though, like transcribe. Then inside the body, so at the center we have that. So instead of the text, let me just keep text a button. So feel the button looks much prettier. Yeah, so pick audio files. Then we come here and okay, so let me do this the results. We can just wait it here, and okay, there's no need to add also all this thing. You can just okay, that's not necessary, because since we have logger that will show us the output in the terminal, no need to do all that. So let me just close this, and we can display all that information. So we can reload, then we can limit this to only Flutter logs. So let it load first. I think it's, let me see, maybe this one will work. Okay, so yeah, so there's a missing thing, but to limit this into, okay, so let me copy this one and update the log information to only include the logs that you made. Otherwise you'll just see a lot of information here that are not really, I can't say they are not relevant, but they won't help us debug this application. So let me see. Fail to get audio file missing exception. Okay, and to prevent this one from like hanging your entire application, just go here to run and debug, then uncheck this one. That way you don't have to restart the entire application when you get an error. Instead, the logs will just show you exactly where the issue is. Okay, it has been reloaded. Then we try to pick requesting permission, 100 storage permission. Okay, I don't know why the log is not showing of the exact error that. Okay, since entire try catch. Oh, I think it's yeah, so this part is where, let me try and wrap everything inside try catch. Okay, now let me reload it, or we can just hit that. But to clean up, okay, so let's clean up the logs, then we try again. Good, now we can see what exactly the issue is. So failed to missing plugin exception. Oh, I think yeah, I think the issue, we need to uninstall the app completely. Let me see if that might fix it. I've encountered such bugs where all I had to do is like uninstall it, then like install it again, so that all these missing plugins are downloaded. Now let's run it again. Okay, so let's try again and see if we'll still get the same issue. Yeah, so nothing happened. So the issue was just uninstall the entire app, then it will download all the necessary plugins. So you can enable that. Then if you go back, external denied. Why? Okay, so I made some after doing some research, I made some fixes to requesting the permissions to storage. I have read somewhere where from 111 through 14 plus, they changed if you request for storage using the previous implementation that I made, it will always fail regardless if you've done it right or not, but it will always fail. So instead they made just you use manage external storage with it. So let's see, you pick that, then it grants us the permissions. We go back, then we have the storage. Now you can pick an audio file if you want to, and you can see here down at the logs. Let me expand this. So you're getting the audio path, so that is the first thing you do. Then you can see requesting, you are granted, permission granted, and open file picker. So here's the file picker, but you notice I don't have any audio files. So to do that, I'll just transfer from my mobile phone. Okay. Okay, let me see if I got some audio. I think I have a couple of them. Okay, so I have here a couple of songs, and let me just transfer them. Okay, sometimes you have, okay, so this one showed automatical, but other times I always have to like close the entire application to able to see the audio. But let's see. Yeah, so here are the audio files. So let's say I didn't pick anything, and you should expect here, so no audio file was selected. But I don't think this should be an error, but it should be like more of a warning. So let's update that. Why is it no audio file was selected? So instead of that, let me just turn it into like a warning. Then let's try that again. That I add autosave in feature, clear console, then try again. So let's pick nothing. Yeah, so our warning is orange, so no audio file is selected. Then yeah, so let's pick an audio file. Then we see what if we get the path. So do that, then audio, so they're not there. So inside the downloads, so let's pick as Anson's Yabra. So click that, and here is the results. So we have the audio file was selected, the name of the audio file, then the path where it has been cached. So you can notice it is inside the app folder, inside the cache of it provided by file picker. So you have that, and that is what we'll be using to generate and transcribe for. So yeah, so that worked. Now the next part is let me see. So we have that picking audio works, have the audio picker thing working. Now it's this part for the whisper, and for that, so we will so we have the whisper services. Then the first thing we need to do is like initialize whisper, like creating a provider that will always give us this whisper with the downloaded model values to it. So for that, I'll just call it whisper provider, and I'll make it a feature because we are dealing with a feature method. Okay, so let's first import a river pod. Okay, so since we're dealing with the future, and we want to keep it alive as long as possible while we're using the app. We don't want every time we have to what is it, get a new version of it or something like that. So okay, I think, let me see. Yes, it does not have like a download progress and all that, so we just have to create like okay, let's create like a count. No, like counter won't be good, but okay, so let's put like a feature provider that keeps it alive. So we have that, then we just call it whisper provider. Then here it will just return whisper, and that, just take that. Once we have that, then we have the whisper services class, Okay, so yeah, so like I made it initially where you can define the module like also tiny, base, and let me see. So here they are like tiny, base, like there's large and all that. Then we return that, and like I said before, you don't need to throw an exception, but just return the exact error. And instead of that, let's just put it as error. Then we can add here throw, and we are throwing an error, but it keeps telling me an exception. We don't need all that. Okay, so that is for the whisper, and we want to wrap it inside the entire, like the home screen, where when you first launch the application, always like whisper will be initialized. That is, in case it's not downloaded, it will be automatically downloaded, and if it's already downloaded, they won't be need for downloading it another time. And we'll come here to home screen. Then near the top, let's create it. So whisper. I just call it an async. Yeah, so that is for that, and put it that way. Okay, so since it's an async, let me see. Let's make it here a feature, since it's it will be loaded only once, not every time. And I think we can make it 3, then just keep it whisper feature. Then here, so we have that. Then we can wrap everything here inside the feature builder. We have that. Then we can take this whisper that, then inside it, so yeah, so we have these different states. So let me just add like some information, like make it small. Then let's put like a spacing of 16. Then below it we can add like a text, yeah, initializing whisper. And so that is if it's waiting, if it has error, then else if it has data, what you want it is to give us that. And in case none of those conditions are met, let's just return a shrinked widget size box. I mean, yeah, so I think that, so let's reload and see what happens. Okay, let me just show. It was done so quickly. Okay, you can see some errors here. Okay, let's just make sure that the errors are not skipped. So trying that, and it gets, or could it be that whisper itself is okay, so successfully whisper. Then let's add information about the information about, okay, let me version. Yeah, you can add that information about the version. Let me see. Okay, so let's try again. Yeah, so whisper version that was initialized. Now, okay, let's test it with okay, let's say we are using the base one. The base one might take some time to load because it's not downloaded yet. So let's try that and see what the results will get. how long it might take, because I want to show you like the loading. Yeah, so you have that, it will be fetching. So you get here, it's downloading the base model. And we can make this loading indicator like somewhere around yeah, I think this looks somehow good. And also we can make the app, let's say give it what color, I think blue. Okay, so this one should be a scaffold. You can just put home here. Let's try this. Yeah, so transcribe me, then the theme, no, instead of that, okay, let's see the color. Okay, so instead of that patch, let's put it like a seed color. I think this one will make a difference. Yeah, so you can see this, and we'll use material 3. I think material 3 looks much prettier. So that, yeah, so the model has been downloaded, but to show you the speed, I think it is best to use a tiny model. Yeah, so the tiny model was downloaded and stored. Then yeah, so we have that. So the home screen, which I believe is mainly just this one is the main part. And here, so we have picked the file. The next part is like showing like the results. Okay, you have to add the button of transcribing, and let me see if I can get a clean UI okay, let's see. We just want button placement for the text, and yeah, okay, I have an idea where at the bottom, let's put the buttons here at the bottom inside like a row. Okay, so this one is waiting. Then here is where like it has data. Then we can change this into like a column. Then we change this one into children. Then we can put like an expanded widget that will cover like the entire section. So if this is an expanded widget, okay, for now let's just put it as so. Okay, then we can put like a row that shows us picking for picking and transcribing under here. So this one will just show us, yeah, so here you have to put like information about the picked file. Let me just do that. Okay, I like, okay, so let me just Yeah, I hate how this one looks, the outline button. Let me see if I can let me just use the normal fill button, but that is not tonal. Yeah, I think this one, yeah, it looks okay. Yeah, just put that one. Then yeah, the top okay, so the transcribe, this button should not be enabled unless audio file has been picked. So to do that, since we need to have this one initialized, we can just come here inside when it has data, and first of all initialize like okay, let's see the audio file first of all. Audio file path that is provided by, yeah, so this one. Okay, so did you see what happened when I place it here? It automatically got triggered. And we don't want it to like to do this, so let me see, what if I just like place it here as future, and instead of watching, let's say I put it like that. Then let's go back. Okay, let me refresh it, because the thing with future is it's that they are automatically triggered. Okay, let me see. Yeah, there's still that same issue because it's here. Okay, to fix that, let me see. Okay, what if I wrap this one inside a feature builder too, which is determined by this one. Okay, let me see. How? Okay, let's try again. Okay, so it means that because it's a future, it will always trigger. Okay, so let me see. So the best workaround is that when we trigger here picking an audio file, okay, so first we need to create like a variable that will store the selected audio file. So let's try. So the string an audio file path, and you can create like a method that will update it automatically, so which can be null sometimes. Then once you have that, then we come here, we can put here like an async. Then yeah, so they pick the audio file. Then once you picked it, so we call this set the audio file path. Then this one will should come here up and update this method. Then if we come back here, so let's take just this one, then do this. Okay, Okay, so that then if okay, so let me see if this one is still private, so I have to make this one private. No. So if it's null, okay, so instead of it like disappearing completely, we can just disable the entire button being able to be clicked. Like we can turn it into gray color. So if the audio path is null, we just make this on press null. Yeah, so you see now the difference where it cannot be tapped, so it's just the dull color, unlike this one. Yeah, so if let's say pick, okay, so maybe, okay, so let's just pick it. Okay, take this one, then the button is enabled. Then here just below it we can like add that, no, you can just put a text like here at the very top of the but the naming is it's not good. Okay, let me see if we can extract like a proper name from it. Okay, that looks good, but I want like a clean name. Okay, let me see. Okay, URI. Let me see what user information will give me. Nothing. I think we'll have to work with that for now, but and also the selected parts, it's not pretty. Then we can also remove like okay, so let's do this. These parts, let's get rid of them. Then we can do this. So okay, instead of doing all that, we can just do this. Okay, then let me see if, okay, that didn't work. Then we can just add some padding around it. I think 16 is about right. Okay, then so we have the file that is selected. Then here in between we can uncomment this one, and then here we will okay, so also this one, like so if no audio path, if this is not null, show the expanded widget. Otherwise, like show like a text telling the user select an audio file to transcribe. Then here, so since we'll be dealing with the list of so this one should be just else. This will be dealing like with the list of segments provided by the transcription. We can, from the transcription, where is it? So we have this one for this. Okay, we never made this. Where's the services? One for this transcribing, and for this one we need to create like an async notifier, and it's just a basic provider. So let me just the transcribe audio provider. So first of all, import river code. Then after that, improve async notifier. Then you just call it transcribe audio. Then what it does, just returns a list of the transcribed segments. Okay, so this one will be just that. Then just return an empty list as the default value. Then inside here, what we do is create a method for where the process actually goes. Okay, so we'll just take that. So for this one we don't have to do that. Instead we can just pass here like the string of the audio file path, which sometimes can't be null, so remember to do that. Then I think yeah, we need that too. Okay, so also we also need what is it, like the audio service. Okay, we can handle that inside it. So the first one, we have to set the state to like loading. That way we don't keep the user waiting, assuming that something had broken when in reality it did not. So now the file, okay, so whisper, yeah, so we want the whisper instance that was made, so import that. So we have that, and yeah, putting it this way as an await feature, where it will block this the entire method from proceeding unless the whisper is provided. So we have that. Then another thing is we want to transcribe. So let me just add whisper services. Then inside it, I just keep it as it is because nothing else will be going on inside that method. Then Yeah, so we want to transcribe everything. Okay, so if the okay, so the first thing before any loading occurs, okay, so if the audio path, okay, so first of all we want to close the method, but also we want to inform the user like why that's the case. Okay, so this one should be constant. Yeah, we want to tell the user like the path is null and all that. So here is the results. Then we try to fold the results where the segments will be stored, or in case there's an error, and that, yeah, and that is all for this notifier. Then we create a provider for it. So since it's an async, just tap that. Then we want to make it like a family where it will be handled specific or like audio file paths. So okay, so like why is it not working? Yeah, so here is the provider itself that we'll be using inside the application. So we come back here, then we create, like, we want to listen to the segment. So segments async, and we put that this one here, import. Once you've imported it, we then okay, so you have the segments here. Then if the audio is null, is not null, so it means here is where we'll be displaying it. So since we have the process will be running on the segment generation, so you'll have to use like let me show you. So segment where it's when this one. Now when, let's say, so when it's loading, you just want to like show like a text, no, let's say like a column, and yeah, like transcribing audio and all that. So when there is an error, since what you will show that, so let's just give it like style, let's say, let's make it just red. Then when the transcription is successful, what we want to do is like show like a list. Okay, so that is that, but okay, so we have that. What we want, so data, let's just remain it as segment, segments. that is segment. Okay, then okay, let me see here how this guy is made theirs. It's like okay, let's just run it, then we can see. Okay, you can see that it's been okay, so select audio. Let's just add a space between here. Space between. Okay. Then select audio. Let's just put it at the center. But to do that, you have to wrap it inside an expanded widget. Okay. Then we can drop the entire scaffold inside the safe area so that it does not get blocked here at the bottom. Okay, that looks ugly. We can write. Okay, let's just wrap the body. Yeah, so that's we get that complete view. Okay, so let's test it out now. We can open the console log and see exactly what's happening. So let's just restart, then we'll see. Okay, so the tiny model has been initialized. We get that. Then we pick an audio file. So let's pick this one, Dominoes. I don't know if you've ever listened to this song, but it's quite good, and you'll able to see like how it was transcribed. So we get here the logs, selected audio, and where it is, the path. Then we hit transcribe. So okay, there should be like a loading feature somewhere. Oh, I didn't call the transcribe method here, and to do that we just it's just that we call the transcribe provider. Since it is a family, you pass the audio file path, then you hit transcribe, and that should work. Then so here, failed to open wave file. So okay, so this one since it is an mp3, it won't work for it, but we can fix that now. Okay, let's continue where we left off. So the last time we checked that when you try to transcribe, let me just show you the logs, where let's say this one, then when you try to transcribe, we get this error where the transcription model only allows WAV file. So what we're going to do is convert this mp3 file into a WAV file so that it can be transcribed, the audio can be transcribed. Now to do that, we need first go to the services folder, then we create audio service class. So what this will do is that it will help us convert a typical audio file to a WAV file or a WAV file. I'm not sure what's the correct term. And there are a couple of packages that you also need to add inside PubSpec. So I believe that will be path provider. So let's yeah, so you add this path provider, that it will help us like creating a cache of that generated WAV file. And here now we create that class, Then like usual, the first package to import is logger, then the other one is .z or .z. Once you have that, then you create an instance of logger. Then we create a method that will convert so what it does, will just take the path of the audio, and from it we can get the results that we want. Okay, so the string will be the audio part. The parameter that will pass is the audio part. Then you take a sync and that. Then we add the first logger is just that, like telling it that what you're trying to do is trying to in the conversion. Then you create a try catch where inside it here, so for the name of the files, like let's use like the time that, yeah, we will use like for the name, let's just use the time when the operation was carried out, instead of just passing the name of the audio. But before we do that, we need to first get the application documents directory. Now, so let's just add the logger first, saying that then create a variable for the directory. Yeah, so this method is provided using the package that you add that part provider, so this one. Then once we have that, we want to make sure that the output is unique, so let's just create a timestamp for it. So we'll just take datetime.now, then we take milliseconds. Also, the next part is define where the output path will be. And to give us the output part, we first of all take the directory of the application. So to do that, you just do directory.path, then we'll create like an audio section. No, like the first the name of the output will start with like audio, then we take the timestamp, then I will keep it .12 or it WAV. And once you have done that, we can add this logo, like the output path for the converted audio will be stored here. Then once we have that, we create a file object representing the output file. So and to do that, you just use file, this one, then you just place inside it the output path. Yeah, and that's simple. Then we we can check if the output already exists, so that we don't so we can check if the output exists, so that we can delete it and create a new one, just in case we don't want to have like conflicting outputs file like that. So just using if. Okay, let me just disable this autocomplete. It's messing up with my concentration. So what you do, you just take await, then the output file, and ask it if it exists. And if it exists, let's display like a logger, just to show the user that okay, we should see the output. So output file exists, we are deleting it. Then we go ahead and delete it. And so once that is that, we now proceed with like a clean slate. And here is where the complex part begins with. We'll be using ffmpeg command, like to convert the input media file to a format. And I believe we need to add this following next package. So I'm using this extension that allows me to add those packages. With that, then enter the name, just ffmpeg. I believe that package has been added. Yeah, so here it is. Then yeah, so let's proceed with the most complex part. So let's just add okay, the logger will just add them later on using Copilot. But so let's create a session variable that is a method that will give us an output. So let's wait. So make sure this one is imported here at the top. Then we execute the following command that will help with the conversion. And be very careful of what I'm writing now. So -I, then you keep quotations, and inside them you give it the audio path, then go to the next part, -vn -se, then L, then -ar, then 16,000 -c colon a pcm underscore s16le. After that, add a space, then add the quotations, then you give it like the output path. Yeah, so this is the command that you need for execution. Let me just close this one. Now once it has executed, you want to see the return code that we get. So this one, return code, and this one, if the return code is a success, we can proceed to the next part. So return code that is success. So to do that, I think this one should be masked capital. So the return code is success, then we pass in inside it the return code that we created here. And okay, so if you want, you can also add the like how long it takes, but we don't need all that. All we need is just to return the file that was created. So just write and create a file inside of it, and the part is output. I don't know, it's okay. The argument type cannot be assigned to parameter string. How? Oh, I get it. So here the output, I made it a string, but it should be a file, so that this one works. Then if it's not successful, we can just return like left, saying that everything didn't work. Okay, so let's just return a string that ffmpeg conversion failed, and we can display the output. And for the output, yes, answer this one output, and that will be we have to listen to the session and get output, and that's it. Then so let me just activate Copilot for the loggers and more information. Now this one so we can just return like there's an error during a date convention, and we can see the exact error that you are getting. And also we can add like logs here, like condition failed. You can just, and the good thing with Copilot will just give you it understands the code, and it will give you oh my bad, so here it was supposed to be 1, not L. Then let me just add more logs. Okay, let's see what. Okay, yeah, I think that's all we need for that. So now we can use this one inside the other class that will be inside the file service class, where once we get the audio path, we can plug it inside here, where let me see where the outputs there, where is right. So we have only here right now. we can do that here inside here. So the audio path, but yeah, so this one will need to be changed. Instead of pointing out to the local path, yeah, so it can point to the path of the WAV file that was generated from this audio service class. So let's go back here, then just create an instance of the audio services class. Then we go down here. Let me remove this one. Yeah, the conversion results. Then we can see that we get file. Then okay, so let's, okay, that's not right. We can return. Okay, so if this one, so this one will just okay, let me just remove this part, but we will have an issue either way. So the conversion, yeah, so this one, it should be like this now. So if it's an error, so it will give you the logo. Let me just add it here. That, then we can get here, so the converted file path, and it will give you that information. Yeah, so I think that is all. Now let's test it out and see if it worked, if the names will be changed. I believe also the name here won't be as clean as we had made it before, but let's try that. Okay, so we've got missing plugin. So what you have to do is just delete the entire application for a new build.
Iremos a las coordenadas, detendremos a Trask y acabaremos con Molde, maestro.
Yo digo que en vez de detenerlo, enviemos a Trask por correo en la ONU, en pedacitos.
Okay, so now we have reloaded the app, they reinstalled it, and let's see what the logs will look like. So now it's downloaded the tiny whisper model. Right, so the install was successfully here based on the logs. Then we go ahead and pick our file. So first of all, you notice that you're asked to allow that, and you go back, you get this ones. Then let's pick just this as on Ciabra. And like I told you earlier on, after conversion, you'll notice that it's quite different from the name that you had before. But I don't know, let me give it the same name as before, because just to make it look clean. So you have this one, then we can come here. Okay, let me see. Okay, where is the name defined? Okay, audio path. So here is where the output path is, and here is the name. So we can get rid of that part. Then we can come here and get the file name. Then let's try to replace that with that. Then let's see if that will make any changes. Yeah, so here it is. Also, we can just remove these parts at the front and just have something clean. Okay, so you'll notice here the .mp3. So this part, I don't want it to be there, so let me just do something. Since it's on audio path, then let's try that. Yeah, so now it's much cleaner. Yeah, that's what I wanted. Then let's test the transcribing. So let's see the logs. So here are the logs. Let's clean it up. Then 1 2 3 go. Okay, it's running. Let's see if it will do it right. It's a 4-minute audio file, so it might take long, but since it's tiny model, it won't take longer compared to the base one. Alright, so the transcription was success, and here the output, and you'll notice that this one is in milliseconds. If you want, you can convert it into, okay, this one it should be in BS. It should be MS, not just S. Okay, can put it that. Also, we don't need this other part. Let me see what happens. Yeah, we don't need the extra parts. Yeah, so we have the milliseconds. If you want to deal with it as seconds, you can also convert that, but let's make this into a row. Then we can place this inside it, because it's just one word. There is no need to separate them, and we can place it like that. It's messy. Okay, let me just then yeah, so all these are the words of the song, into all of them, how they appear inside the song. And you can use this maybe in your app if you want to generate like lyrics, or if maybe you want to create an app that to help people who can't hear to get like, but can read to to use to transcribe that information for them. But yeah, so that's it. You can, in case you experience a bug, just put an issue, or you can contact me directly through my email or in GitHub. I'll get it and try to fix as much as possible. But so far, this is how you transcribe it. Also, if you think this is it doesn't look pretty, let me show you another way we can make this look much better. So let's do that. Then child. Then we take the segments and we map. Okay, this is text. The argument text cannot be assigned parameter widget. How? Man, I don't want it to look like that, so let me see if I change this into a rock. Yeah, so I think this one is much better. Let me just add some horizontal padding. Okay, this one should be scrollable. Well, that's the end of it. Let me see if I increase the size. Okay, still not scrollable. Wow. Okay, let me see if I remove this one. Still not. So this one should be scrollable. I don't know why it's not working. But if you can find a way to fix this, I'll appreciate where you can make it scrollable. Even though I've done that, but I don't know why it's not working. Let me see. I remove this one. Still not scrollable. Anyway, so that is that. You have the entire lyrics of the song here. You can if you have a music player app, you can just use this one to add lyrics to your app and all that. So don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and also in case you have an issue, just reach out to me. Bye.